Hey guys, MoneyBirdette here. I'm on Jessica Fury podcast. New episodes every Monday. You gotta watch our episode.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Fury. So my friend Dara is here from New York. She's visiting.
Hi guys.
And I've been wanting to get her on the podcast space just because she and I have known each other probably since kids, like 5-6 years old.
Probably first grade.
Long time.
Yeah.
And she at one time was one of my training clients. She and I maintained such a good friendship. But I was like, come onto the podcast. She has such an amazing platform that she's created in the digital space and through her OnlyFans account and just as an Instagram model. And I love it. Like, I literally pick her brain all the time. And I was like, I'm bringing you on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy you're here.
Me too.
Do you like visiting LA?
No.
But you liked that house last night.
I just spoke about this. I like the house. I like that kind of stuff. That was really cool because I've seen the show, and to be like able to go to one of these houses in person was really an amazing experience. Because when do you get to go see a $16 million home?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not for everyone. Not everyone could just walk into a house like that. So it was a really cool experience to see. And then like you do that every day. That's kind of cool. You know?
What did you like? I mean, but I brought you to the office, so you got to see where they shot some of the stuff for like buying Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
But what did you like about that $16 million? And what did you like and what didn't you like about that house?
What I liked about it was kind of just to see a house that is something like so prestigious, like $16 million is in Beverly Hills, right? Mm-hmm. The zip code, everything, just to experience that. But honestly, that house is not for me. So like, I would never want to buy a house like that. Like, I don't think I'm a home buyer. I've never had a urge to buy a house. I kind of like condos. So like the house I'm in, like I'd rather keep my New York condo than live in a $16 million house. I feel like if I didn't have a family or live with somebody, it's such a vast empty space for me. So like, I didn't like that. It's just not my vibe when I walked in the house. It's beautiful, but that's not a house that I would walk in and be like, oh my God, this is so for me. I wish, you know. Mm-hmm. I also feel very like stable where I'm at and like where I live, and I really like it. And I know that's not New York. Like to see a house like that, like in a borough, like in Brooklyn, you would never, you know.
But you and I have spoken about it. Yeah. Like Manhattan is expensive.
I would never live in Manhattan. It's so crazy, and it's not even nice.
What's not nice?
The houses, like the condos are, if you have $16 million for a condo, cool. Those are beautiful, right? Those lofts. But to live in a regular, like I lived before where I live now, I lived in a pre-war building, which is most of New York, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, wherever you go. So I lived in literally like a couple of years ago, I was still in the apartment that I lived in when I was a nurse. And I remember when I was a nurse, I used to literally live paycheck to paycheck. I'd find cockroaches. You know, I had no doorman. Packages were just stolen all the time. And this was like almost $2,000 a month for a one bedroom.
I remember when you were in that place.
But that was
in the
what
bathroom?
New York is about. Yeah, I had to have them renovate it. It was from the 1930s. Remember? I had
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah, so New York is very interesting. But it's still something I love. Like, I'd rather live like that kind of over, you know, living in a suburb ever again. I don't know why. The energy there, I love it. Something about that.
But you like it better than LA?
Yeah, for sure.
But you're staying in Hollywood right now.
I'm in Hollywood.
Do you like it?
I haven't really like left. Like we're just here to work.
Yeah.
Me and Britt, so.
Yeah. I mean, I never really lived in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. I never lived in Manhattan. I mean, I just like the cold, but for me, I just like suburban. I like LA. I like the luxury of LA. I like being in real estate where
we were like Jersey, like
just
how
talking
we grew up,
about it.
You know, like I still like that. I still love New Jersey.
Yeah.
I like to visit my parents.
Yeah.
But I still like something about being in the city for, I don't know how many years I've been there. Since I was 22, I'm almost 39. So
yeah.
I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
You know, living like that.
Yeah. So you were a nurse.
Yes.
How long were you a nurse for?
I was a neonatal intensive care nurse for 13 years.
Why did you? I remember when you were a nurse because you were at Maimonides.
Yeah. You remember?
And well, because my aunt worked there at one time.
Yeah, that's true.
I remember when you used to send me these pictures of these little babies,
Yeah.
tiny, and you would be feeding them.
Yeah, I'd be sitting there like someone would I have a picture of me with like in the unit, I think, where I'm just holding this like little 1 pound baby and just doing like, you know, just chilling. I always look at the pictures on my phone from when like I used to be a nurse. It's such a humbling experience. Like I learned so much about life doing that as to where I am now, but it was hard leaving that, you know.
What did you learn about life being with the nurse? Like, as
What did I learn? I learned so much. Literally, like I learned that majority of our problems don't matter because I might stress out about a breakup or about something not going my way or while I'm here, the situation and having to push work back. But I realized in the grand scheme of things, when I was a nurse, like the things that I took for granted, having like my health, I couldn't imagine having a child. Like your life gets turned upside down and you see like this baby born maybe 3 months early. The baby is literally 1 pound. Your life has changed forever. So my friends, and a lot of times like I'm rough around the edges where I have compassion towards certain things, but I also don't have compassion towards like the minor things anymore. It kind of changed me in that sense where I'm like, this doesn't matter because I've seen some real crazy stuff. Literally like that does not compare to like handing a parent their child. Like hold your child so your child can basically expire. You know what I mean? Like, so when my friends will come to me with like this problem that probably seems like a 10 out of a 10 problem for them, and I'm like, it's like I can't relate because I've seen some real heartbreak, you know, in my life.
But that's kind of humbling because most people don't
Yeah.
really think of it that way. But did you have a period in your career as a nurse that you were like, I just don't connect, like there is something that I'm not being fulfilled about anymore? Like, did you have that? Like, what was like the turn that you were like, I just don't want to do this anymore?
It wasn't that I didn't want to do this anymore. I was making a lot of money. Like I always had the Instagram page. I always had the modeling page. I started growing a following. OnlyFans came about. I didn't sell any like adult content or nude photos. Like it was just regular content. It was just extra content. And a friend of mine was like, you got to sign up for this site. It's really cool. So it was really early on. When I signed up.
Cinematographer?
What? Alfie.
Oh, okay. I
Our
thought it was
mutual friend,
cinematographer.
Alfie.
Who's the
No.
one with Paige?
That's Lambert.
Yes.
It wasn't OnlyFans related, but
Oh.
I signed up for the site, started making money, started making a lot of money, and I was like, this is way better than I loved nursing, but it was such a high stress job and it affected my life so much that like it was 16-hour days. Like I would go wake up at like 5 in the morning, get to work at 7, work 7 to 7. I also worked the overnight shift for years, 7 at night to 7 in the morning. Then I switched to the days. I was also a charge nurse at times. So it was just everything too. Like it was very stressful. Like if you clocked in at 7:01, I remember my manager being like, get a union rep. Like you need me when you're in dire needs for overtime nurses, because they always need nurses. You're calling my phone, please come work. But then you get there at like 7:01 and they're like, get a union rep. It was so stressful for me, like on a level like that. And then also like you're as a nurse, you can make an error. There's human error, and like errors happen and they just do. So the stress of that in my mind, sometimes in the back of my mind, like I could hurt someone's child with just a decimal of an error. Like I don't know if I could do this for another 30 years. Like I'm a great nurse and I was like a senior staff nurse basically, but I knew that I was like, you know what, this is starting to cause like anxiety in my life, like the stress of it. And I'm making enough money to scrape by. I'm living like paycheck to paycheck as a nurse. And I know a lot of people can't understand that or believe that. But in New York, like, it doesn't go very far.
What is the amount of money that nurses roughly, like what is the...
I think $80,000 a year out of college. And then I was making at least $100,000 a year when I left, working some overtime.
Mm-hmm.
But in New York, like my rent, almost $2,000. My car payment, that's 2 weeks
Oh,
worth.
you're right. I remember when you had your car. You got rid of your car.
Yeah, I got rid of it. But that was like 2 weeks worth of work after taxes and all the deductions for like whatever they take out, union dues, this and that. And I'm like, I want to have a better quality life. I want to make more money. I want to save money. I want to travel. I want to buy an expensive bag, or if I want to walk into a store, I don't want to have to like live like this. Like I feel like people always say to me like, oh, you don't have a respectful job. I'm like, well, I had a respectful job. Pay that respectfully so I can make more money now doing what I do and have a better quality of life, a more beautiful apartment, a safer apartment, work less hours. My life is different, like, and I don't regret it at all, like leaving that job. But if they paid me more money as a nurse, I would have stayed a nurse my whole life, you know?
When you decided to switch over to, because I just want to put for reference, what was the time period that this was going on? Because Instagram and social media, and I want to speak specifically about social media because we talk about this on the phone all the time. I call Dara because she is very good, and I tell you this all the time, she's very good at creating followings, making money in the digital space, and understanding the digital world. You can't just fucking post it. There has to be lighting. There has to be this. You have to do this. You'll send me like wellness people sometimes or real estate agents. You'll be like, go do what that person does. Go do this. Do this. So it's like, what was the time period that you were starting to transition a little bit more into the social media space?
I think I just started it. I had a friend that was like, I want to do the photo shoot with you. He worked at the gym, Lambert, the one you were talking about.
Yes, I
remember. I said, yeah, I'll do a photo
Yeah.
shoot. This is kind of so random and weird. We met in a parking lot, on a skyrise building, and we just did this like photo shoot. And the photos were sexy, obviously. And I was like, this is cool. These look great. If the photos looked horrible from the beginning, I probably wouldn't be here where I am today. I would have been like, oh, God, no. I look so bad. But photos were great. I felt good about myself taking the photos. And then we just continued to make like content after that. And it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
The following started to grow. It was super organic. And it was really easy in the beginning of social media, I guess, when it first started with Instagram, to really grow that following.
It was like 2017.
It was very different.
2016,
to it is now. It's not as easy to grow.
When was
the
it?
algorithm changes.
2016? Because this
Probably.
is when also Paige was coming up.
Maybe
Because
8 years ago, 10 years ago.
Because Paige, we used to talk about it.
Yeah,
Remember
she
Paige
was
Hathaway?
huge. Yeah, of course.
That was the path that she was taking, but after after she left Shreds,
Yeah, she did
things
her own
really
thing.
changed,
She did her
and
own thing.
she really just moved into like the mom, beautiful. You know, she's
like, she understands her fan base. She has true fans. Like, they'll watch her and follow her, and they love her.
Yeah,
and she understands her niche audience. You know, so
and that was during the time that when you met Lambert, Paige was really like coming up.
Yeah, so he taught me a lot about social media.
What did he teach you?
Just kind of like, I watched what they did, and just how he created content, high quality content, like the photo shoots, the videos, putting together different things, like being a little bit different than each creator, I think is important. So as we started posting, it started growing the following. So just like watched their model and what he did for her. But I knew I wasn't going to be a fitness influencer. And it was before the time of like monetizing on Instagram off of the platform. So it was just a weird thing. And I said, I'm just going to do this and see where it goes and keep it hidden from my real job, and made like an alias, you know, on social media, which I still have. So
Because you were Flower Bomb.
yeah, Flower Bomb first, and then my page got disabled like 3 or 4 times.
And you got to pay for it to be.
I paid to try to get it back so many times. And then this one now is MoneyBirdette, but that's just happens in the Instagram space. Like, there's hackers, there's people that'll disable your account, try to extort you for money after. I've paid thousands of dollars to get my social media accounts back through people. It's just what happens when you get bigger following. People go after you. You're a target. Yeah,
but I think that like building a following in any type of space, let's just like for any type of space, whether it's, we'll use real estate, like building, because you and I talk sometimes in like the real estate thing, and I throw ideas out with you, and you'll share like how to make reels or how to build on TikTok with like lighting and stuff, and you'll share those things. But because what is it that you've seen from growing a following with those simple things, from lighting to being closer to the camera or engaging or learning specific times to post? Like, how did you learn about that, or what are the effects by learning that it's shown up for you? Like,
I think I've always had a good eye because I'm an artist. So I also know what looks good. So when I'm watching the feed, it's the dimensions. Like, if it's a landscape photo, I'm swiping right through it. If it's small in the camera, I don't care. If it's the girl's far away, I'm not going to stop and be like, wow, this is a great photo. If the lighting is bad, if it's pixelated, if you could just tell that it's not something that the person thought about and they're just posting a photo to post it, I just swipe through. I don't care. But people stop and will look at something like, wow, this is a really dope photo or a really dope video. I'm going to stop and watch it. And it goes by watch time, or I think the algorithm's constantly changing on social media. So Like I even would tell you, I would watch like those YouTube videos, like what's new for the algorithm on TikTok this month? What's new for the algorithm on Instagram? I don't know where these people get their information from. Speculation, if it's right or not, but you can still learn something from what he's saying.
Yeah.
You know, make your own judgment.
So you started doing Instagram modeling.
Mm-hmm.
And the time period, what was it, like 2017 that you started to, because OnlyFans hasn't been around.
It was 2018
for that
and made it
long.
OF. Yeah.
It hasn't been around for that long a period of time.
Yeah.
You and I were talking about it last night, but how it's become completely saturated. But I want to just ask, when you decided to do the OnlyFans,
mm-hmm.
and people are listening to it, or any person who knows that that OnlyFans is out there, and OnlyFans from because I looked at it, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it from a fan based. I could do yoga on there. I can do hauls on there. Mm-hmm. I could do whatever the fuck I want on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm, you know, like I don't need to be doing any type of adult content. But if I decide that I like want to do like if I want to like try on a bunch of clothes, or I want to make a fan based. So the initial thing that somebody may be asking, and you and I have talked about this many years ago, the shame I used to get from things I used to post. Like if I was in like a bikini or like trying to be sexy, like doing like a sexy photo, I would get real shamed. I would get a lot of shame.
From who? Family, right? Or like your friends?
Like family or people that I thought were friends of
I had
mine.
to cut those people out of my life.
Like they were like some of it, and it was causing like a lot of like inner turmoil because I was okay with it.
Yeah, I think that there's a button on Instagram I tell people all the time. It's like a mute button. Like you can choose not to see my content. You can choose to stay like I don't need you to follow me just because you're my friend or like you can just say, hey, listen, like I don't like this because it's not something I want to see all the time. I don't take it personally. I'm like, go ahead and follow. I don't care, because social media to me is just I follow things I don't want to see. I don't just follow. I follow Instagram models to like network with them and to like show support on their photos and this and that. But what I look at on Instagram is cats and plants. Like honestly, that's my whole explore page.
It is.
So it's really all that I look at is plants. So that kind of just gives me that on my explore page. It makes no sense with what I post. I also tell people in real life, I am Dara. On the internet, I'm MoneyBirdette. I do not look like that every day. I don't act like that every day. I'm not like some sex fiend. I'm not in like full lingerie where I walk around like I'm just like ready to fuck. No. So like people have a real life, and then we also have this life online, like where I know what I'm trying to sell. I know what my audience is. I know what they want to see. They don't want to see me with like looking all in it, like regular. They want to see what they want to see. They're following me for that. So I'm going to feed into that on my page, and I might have a personal page or my plant page, and I'll post some other stuff. But I think that people think that what you see on social media is just reality. It's really not.
Well, I guess like I wanted to get it to be like a little bit more personal, because at the time that you did it, and the reason I was bringing up like any type of shame that I've experienced from it, just because I resented those things, because I don't mind being sexy or attractive or pretty.
Yeah.
Like I don't struggle with those things. I struggle with if in a relationship, like, you know, maybe somebody's putting too much attention onto another woman that they're not in a relationship with. Yeah. But like, were you looking for attention? Did you want to overcome like an insecurity? Were you looking for something to feel better about yourself? What was it you personally that you were like, or was it an art? What was it that you connected within yourself that you're like, I want to do this modeling. I want to go onto OnlyFans.
I think that when, like you said, when you feel shame, it's a projection of somebody that somebody else feels on you. Because we should never tell anyone, like, you should feel like this. I should feel however I want to feel. But if I want to post that photo, I'm going to post it. I really don't care about what people think anymore. You know, like, I'll have this argument with like a friend or a family member. I'm like, you don't need to follow. Like, I feel great posting it. Like, it opened my mind, OnlyFans, like where I dealt with trauma, abuse, unhealthy relationships, guys talking down to me, making negative comments about my body growing up. Like, I was in such a bad headspace growing up. I was bullied. I always thought I was overweight. I thought I was unattractive. I had very bad self-esteem growing up. And it wasn't until I really started like kind of like embracing my body, my curves, like the way I looked, because it wasn't cool to have curves. or have a thicker body until recently. Like it really wasn't. Remember we were younger, everyone, Abercrombie, you walked in there, you need to be a size 0 to fit into that stuff. I could never fit into it.
Well, I'm not like
you know?
a Kim K. I mean, I have a butt,
Yeah,
but I'm like sort of
but
really
it's
a
like so
smaller
popular
person.
now. It's so weird. Like, but years ago, it's like a fad. Like our bodies are fads sometimes, like in this weird industry.
Yeah.
But like, so I started posting the photos and I started feeling like good about myself doing it. And I know I got a lot of negative backlash in the beginning. I lost so many friends. I lost one of my best friends was like, I don't understand why you can't just be a nurse. And I said, I can just be a nurse, but I also want to see where this takes me on social media. And I don't care if, like, I really don't care what people think about me. I'm at this place in my life, like, I do not care. Like, what you think about me says more about nothing to me. Like, I do not care because I know who I am and I'm so secure in myself. And, like, I just need peace in my life, in my mind at this point. And people might say it's for attention or it's for this and that. It's for me. Like, I want to look hot and sexy. Like, I love taking nude photos. I love traveling. I love just being naked. I used to judge that stuff years ago. And I used to say, oh my God, this girl is a hoe. Or, oh my God, what is she doing? And I felt like it progressed to everything I judged. It was almost as if like it presented in my life where I had to like get past these hurdles. Like I would judge these girls for posting sexy photos. And look, I'm posting sexy photos and it's nothing to me. Then I'm like, oh my God, this girl is nude on the internet. And then I started being nude on the internet and I was like, this isn't that big of a deal. And then you get maybe I'm desensitized to it, or maybe it's just something that I enjoy to do. I just don't care anymore. Like the things I used to judge other girls for, I'm doing them now. And I'm totally okay with it. So I'm in like a very different headspace, mind space about being in this industry. But it's also evolved into a weird industry where OnlyFans, Instagram, everything was just about posting content at first. And then now it's so saturated, it's so hard to make money because Instagram doesn't let us make money. So the girls that are posting things, somebody might have millions of followers, now you can't monetize. We have to penalize you. Like even on YouTube, my YouTube hauls are too sexy for YouTube. I make no money, even though I have thousands of followers. They won't put the certain ads on them because I'm in a bathing suit. Big deal. Guys post on Instagram with their shirts off all the time. Is that sexualized?
Healthy.
Anyone, just everyone. Every guy I see has their shirt off. They're at the beach. They look good. I'm like, as a woman, why can't I do that? Why can't I be in a bathing suit? It is now inappropriate on Instagram to turn around as a female. You can't. It demonetizes your page. It immediately flags it. You can see it in the
Even of any age.
Yeah, you can. It goes into your account status. Like I posted a photo today. I knew it was gonna get flagged, but I did it anyway because I'll delete it later, just for the engagement. And then it just had a orange check mark, and it limits your account to be seen now. They're like, nope, you can't be seen because you posted this photo that we don't like. It's their AI.
How do people make money on OnlyFans? And I want like, because, okay, so I'll use myself as an example. I was going to make an OnlyFans, and Dara and I stay in touch regularly throughout the year. And again, I mentioned this at the beginning of the episode. I throw ideas out to her and we talk about it. She knows I'm a real estate agent. She knows about my brand because I talk openly with her about it. And I was like, oh, I'm going to just do like, because I used to do a lot of fitness modeling, and I was like, oh, I'll do like bikinis, I'll do like lingerie, I'll do yoga, like I'll do stuff that's more aligned with my brand, but I want to keep it separate from real estate. You know, I'm not doing the adult content, but it may be considerably a little sexy for like somebody to be able to post. And you know, what the fuck? Like, we're all here to make some money. If we want to make money in ways that we want to be creative, then I'm all about it. Like, I'm all about making money, especially now in the digital space as things move forward. And you said to me, if your followers, or if you're not getting, like, there's a whole backside of making money on OnlyFans aside from just saying, hey, I have an OnlyFans, just go sub, you know? So it's like, what is it, the work? Because what is the work that actually has to be in play for people to even make money on that site?
Well, you have to actually have an organic following that follows you off some social media platform, whether you're popping on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, Kick, any of these streaming platforms, because there is no explore page on OnlyFans. It's like just like a blank like feed. So you have to grab followers from somewhere. If you can make an OnlyFans tomorrow and post on it every day, all day. if you don't post that link somewhere or tell people to like drive them there, they will never end up there. So it's actually very hard for people that don't have like a certain fan base that would want to buy content. So like, it's not a bad, it's become, I don't know. I truly don't know. I know that as a sex worker or an adult, you know, you want to sell nudes on there. It's become so that now that everybody signs up and expects that. So if people are not selling that, they're like, why am I here? Why did I pay for this? This is what OnlyFans is. So but there's like Patreon, there's other platforms that are kind of similar that people can go on and sell their content, or a website. Like you can make money and monetize. Like I said to you in the past, I said maybe if you wanted to do diet plans, or just like even have standard diet plans, standard like your workout of the day that you did, Monday like you could have a motivational Instagram and then pair it with that OnlyFans page. I don't know if it'll convert subscribers because women aren't really on OnlyFans. Technically, we don't subscribe because women aren't really buying porn.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of like men on there. So I don't know how
or
much.
Lesbians.
It's just sometimes. I mean, honestly, like 99.9% of my fans are men.
Yeah.
So no, I don't know. It's just different. Like they want to see that. So, but it doesn't mean that you can't monetize your content or have a paid only like you could try. I don't really know anymore because the way it's changed so much that everyone's literally doing like porn on there now.
Do you think that like it's become, we were talking about this at dinner last night, like do you think it's become saturated like OnlyFans because people are struggling for making ends meet and they figure like I'll just have an OnlyFans, but then you know like you go to their Instagram and they have like 1,000 followers and not to sound like superficial, but then they have 1,000 followers. And then I didn't know this till yesterday. You just go and you can tell based off of the likes on somebody's OnlyFans you could tell if they're actually making some sort of money. Is that
so? Like a lot of girls will come to me, or like even guys that want to do like boy girl collabs on OnlyFans, and I do my research. I'll check out even girls that want to like work with me and say, hey, can we do a share for share on OnlyFans, or can I shoot with you? I'm like, I've built this OnlyFans up through the years. I have this following. I have this knowledge. I have this following base. We have to have a similar following base to work together. As a guy, like you need to have a similar, I need to be able to pull something from you. And I think that you need to pull it because you want something from me. So I'll check out their Twitter. If they have no followers on Twitter, I'm like, okay. I'll check their Instagram out. Maybe it's a small following. I'll click their OnlyFans. If they have like no likes on the top, I don't really want to work with you because that means that your fan base is inactive. You don't have anyone interacting with your content. Maybe you don't post a lot of content. I don't really care because then I'm going to post you on my page, which has thousands of followers, and then you're going to grab my fans, my paying fans. So that's where I'm like very picky and selective with who I work with on there. You know?
But the guys that are on there and they're collabing with women, do they have mostly male followers?
Probably. But they have to. Men are different than women. Like I can sell a girlfriend experience on there and not even sell like a sex tape in my life. I can go on there and just sell me. You know, guys are lonely, or maybe men just want to talk to someone, or they want to talk to an Instagram model, and they'll subscribe and just have a conversation with you and want a custom video or want to see your photos. Women are not subscribing on there to see like my photos, you know?
Do you think that like, what are your, like, do you have thoughts toward like being in a relationship and being on the platform, or somebody being in a relationship and they're also spending money on the platform? Like, what are your thoughts with those things?
So if I end up in a relationship, if it's somebody that's not a content creator, like if he's not in the space where he's collaborating with other people, like that's the only time I could see myself being in some sort of like an open situation where I'm like, okay, I want to do this and collab with other guys. You want to collab with other girls? Okay, cool. This is the way it's going to work. But if it's just a random dude that I'm dating, like, no, you're not fucking other girls. And I'm not going to fuck other guys. I'm just going to either, hey, make content with me, or like I was seeing somebody for the last 8 months last year. I didn't make any content with anyone. I just sold my old stuff. So it can work. Like I can be in a monogamous relationship and not make content for there. But while I'm single, I'm going to do, I'm going to stack my collabs and my Rolodex of all this content, so then when the new subscribers come in, they maybe buy the old content. But it does, leak over into relationships where guys get insecure about it. And I understand that. And I just don't really care. Like, I'm almost 40 years old. I don't care if I'm not married. I don't care if I don't have kids. I care about making money and just supporting myself. Like, everyone always says, women need to get married or you need this and that. I don't care. If it happens, it happens.
But what about like somebody who's in a relationship and he's...
I think that I've learned to tolerate a lot of people's... Not tolerate. I've learned about a lot of people's fetishes. There's a lot of people on there with their wife. Like, they'll message me like, oh, me and my wife love your content. Maybe they watch porn. Or maybe they want to see a girl. They like a girl or something. I assume that a lot of the population watches porn. It can be the same and it can be a similar thing, but a lot of these guys on there will go on there and have this like fake relationship with you, and they want to chat with you, and they want to have this like emotional connection or thing like that. And I think that that's weird, and it's inappropriate if you are in a relationship, unless she's okay with it. Mm-hmm. But that's a conversation for that person to have. Like, I don't care talking to him what's going on with his girlfriend. I don't know. I'm just chatting with somebody on here. I don't know if you're married or have a relationship. It's not my fault. But if you're in a relationship with somebody, you should respect the boundaries of that relationship. Like, maybe if your girlfriend, because I know that I wouldn't want my man subscribing to an OnlyFans and talking to a girl. Talk to me. Why are you on there? What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why?
Do you think that there's like, I mean, but you and I have spoken about this, like just situational stuff. Like, but I think that some people, there has to be healthy, like there has to be some sort of, like you said, some sort of boundary. But do you think that sometimes people can turn it into like a problem? Like, do you think that some people can turn it into like
a sex addict problem?
Not, I wouldn't say that necessarily, but do you think that like it's sort of like this weird obsession that they need to always like look at something new or look at something different? Like, do you see it like that? Like, from being on the other side, like...
It just depends what you're doing. Like, if you're just randomly, if I catch a guy I'm dating randomly looking at porn, I don't think I'd care. I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah. Because maybe I watch porn too in my personal life sometimes, just to watch it or whatever. But if you're like now engaging and talking to people and like, well, I don't understand that, you know? And if it's like a constant thing, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. And I just think that people can get out of control and out of hand, and I think people can be addicted to certain things, or like the rush of talking to somebody new.
What's the weirdest thing that someone has asked you?
Oh my God, the weirdest thing? There's just like weird fetishes, like the cuckold fetish is a little bit interesting to me. Like, these guys want to watch somebody bang their wife. I don't know why. I don't understand it. It's kind of interesting. Or like the pay pig.
What?
Like, these guys call themselves pay pigs. They want you to drain their wallet. It's like they get off on you, like making them, it's like taking their money.
Like, I don't
There's an
see,
actual thing.
I don't see in like any type of man being stable and like that being a healthy thing. Like, I seriously can't see that as something like being I do know healthy.
Someone, like these guys go on there, or people just want, like, a lot of people like the armpit, which is just weird to me.
What?
The armpit.
What's that?
People ask you for armpit photos. Like, for what?
Like this?
Yeah, just to see your armpit. But like, all right. What? Okay. That's all? Okay.
Are most people that are creators on OnlyFans, do they have someone managing their account?
There are management companies. There are creators that manage themselves. There are, like, I think, like, husband and wife teams where, like, somebody's wife and husband are on there, like, maybe helping, like, create all the content for them, taking photos, helping upload. It is, yes, there's so many management companies now. Like, I get approached every day by, like, some management company. Oh, I can make you $200,000 a month. I'm like, no, you can't. Like, just stop. But they prey on, like, a lot of girls in the industry, or new girls in the industry that don't really know better, and they think, like, oh my God, I'm getting signed to a management company. Are they going to help me grow? You know, like I said, I do have a manager that helps me with things like promo, buying promo, helping me build, or like traveling expenses, staying with me, like creating content with me, things like that, which is helpful in that realm. But like, there are people that like have management companies that are different. Everyone is different. I know people that have one manager that have like helped create their whole entire social media based following for years, and they've made a lot of money together, and it is what it is.
But I guess like
I'm super active on my OnlyFans. Like I'm on there like a psycho.
But like most people, I guess like what is the percentage of people that are actually making money on there?
I don't think it's as many as people think.
25%, 20%, 50%.
I really don't know. Honestly, there's like a little percentage sliding scale, and you'll see like the percentages like go up and down based on what. And I don't really understand the percentage. Like I don't know what the other person's making compared to me. You don't know who's making what. Kind of doesn't make sense, the percentage that they give you. It's kind of like an unhealthy obsession with this percentage. Like, oh my God, last week I was this percent. This week I'm this percent. Am I making less money? I have to work better. Maybe they do it for that reason. But I think it's hard to make money on there. I don't think the people understand that OnlyFans is not for everybody. Like, if you don't work and you're not creating consistent content on there, like, why are they going to stay subscribed? Mm-hmm. And now my subscribers might subscribe to like, there's free pages, there's paid pages. So if I just assume that each guy is probably subscribed to at least or follows at least 50 free girls.
What?
To 100. Yeah. It's like almost like an Instagram now. Like you can just follow people for free. So their content is just constantly spamming you in the DMs. So if they're following 50 girls a day and I send out 8 to 10 mass
50
DMs.
girls a day on OnlyFans?
Probably, because they can just follow anyone's profile and it could pop up. But now you get every mass DM I send you. You're going to get mass DM'd by all these girls. So it's kind of annoying in the sense where you have to weed out and like go through all that content. And then there's girls that do like share for shares or promo accounts. Like you're getting a lot of DMs a day, I'm thinking, because I send out probably at least like 8 DMs a day to my fans alone.
I guess it's one of those things that like it's so new. You know, like
there's ways to make the site better, but OnlyFans doesn't really like.
Do you think it's like
do it?
Do you ever feel like a disconnect with people like sharing with it? Like,
what do you mean?
Like a disconnect with sharing about OnlyFans or like that type of work? Like, do you ever like I guess sometimes you want to make a connection to the person. You know, you want to make a connection as opposed to just having to just share with a person like what you're doing, or
like a person in real life, like telling them what I do for a living.
Yeah, people
are not as weird now as they were years ago when I would just usually tell people years ago before I would say I do like social media marketing, because I basically do on a sense of social media stuff. Like there's brand deals, like I work with different brands on there. And then also now it's more accepted to be an OnlyFans model. People are kind of like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Oh my God. Like I remember I've met celebrities before that were like so interested in what I did. How much money do you make? Oh my God. Can I see it? Like what? Like you can subscribe. No, like
who subs?
What do you want? Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, the deal on there is that, but it's.
But you walked in like a YSL. Remember you walked in YSL?
Yeah, I didn't walk in YSL. They invited me and they dressed me for an event because I was also on their. I had a friend that worked at the flagship store, so I would buy a lot of stuff through him, and I guess I bought enough that year, which I didn't even think it was that much stuff. Like I bought a few things. I ended up on their like private client, like one of the top people that spent money through the store that year. So they were like, they invited me to Fashion Week, a private event in Docini. I met like the casting director of Chanel, YSL. I met the owner, so many people.
Fuck, I'm about to do it.
I know. They dressed me. They sent me a $3,000 outfit to go.
I remember when you did the videos.
So like it is accepted. Like people don't, it doesn't necessarily mean that like I'm this person. It's kind of like people are more accepting of it now, or accepting of like adult industry. It's not as demonized. It still is by a lot of people, but I feel like everybody watches porn.
Do you think that there's a healthy balance?
Yeah, for sure. Even for me.
What does that look like?
Sometimes it's an unhealthy balance for me. Like I feel very like I don't want to. Sometimes I dread getting dressed up and having sex. Sometimes I dread being in lingerie. I like just want to sometimes not, like, it's such a, you know, if I don't feel good about myself that day, or if I'm like, it kind of like, you know, it makes me a little insecure at times if I'm not looking my best that month, or if I gained a little weight, or if I feel like insecure. Like I want to feel secure all the time. There's always like these like young 20-year-olds that look great, and I'm always like, I gotta remember my age. Like I look great for my age, but you know.
I mean, I guess it's also one of those things where it's like I'm only thinking from like a standpoint of like a woman who does want to be married and does want like a really good husband who's like faithful and loyal, where I just think that there's like a healthy balance. Like there has to be a healthy balance. Like I think that it can become detrimental to the relationship if you're like always having to like, I don't know, like
I think that in any relationship, it just needs to be
like looking at like always having to like have a 20, like, I don't know.
I feel like that's why you date. You get to know that person. You get to know their kind of like love language, but their sex language. Like, what do they like? Like, is this going to mesh with your lifestyle? Are you okay with this? Like, for me personally, like, I don't want to be in a relationship where we have sex 2-3 times a day, all the time. Like, I don't want that. I'm tired. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sex with somebody a few times a week maybe is cool. Some guys I've dated that wanted sex all the time, and I'm like, I don't even enjoy this anymore. It's just like a chore. I don't want it to be like that in a relationship. I don't want to have an unhealthy relationship where he's like a sex addict online, looking at porn constantly, where I'm like, what are you doing? You know, but I understand it. Like, do it on your own time. I don't want to know about it. I don't want it to affect our relationship and our bond, or I don't want it to be something that I'm annoyed by. Yeah. You
know? Now just speaking as like a general thing, because like a lot of my audience and as well as your audience, they may be in a space that they want to make money in the digital world, or they want to make money whether in real estate or they have a customer based. What are some of the things that have helped you build a customer base and build a profitable business that every month your turnover is within a specific range? Like even if by $2,000-$3,000, maybe it's different, but what are some of the things that has helped you, and what are some of the things that you know that work that can help someone else's business?
Well, I think that just you got to spend money to make money. I've always told my friends this. Like I do buy promo sometimes. So like if I want to grow followers, like it's constant turnover. I need new people. So I will buy promo somewhere. I'll buy it for OnlyFans. I'll buy it on Instagram.
You buy Instagram followers?
Not buy followers, buy promotion. Like I'll buy a post on someone's page. Like, hey, can you post me for 24 hours? Let me grab some organic followers.
You've told me that. You've told me
that has the same demographic of follower as me. I'm not going to go ask a real estate page, can you post me? That would make no sense. I'll ask another Instagram model or a famous person that has a huge following, like, hey, how much is your rate for a post? There's websites that'll even show you. Like you can see on there, like, hey, you can buy a shout out. Same thing with OnlyFans. I'll like look at a girl that has the same look as me, demographic. She makes good money on there, and I'll say, hey, what's a like mass DM cost, or what is a 24-hour post cost, and then I'll pay for it. And it's a business write-off. It's expense. For me, photo shoots or just content, like depending on what kind of page you are. If you're a travel page, you're gonna have to invest. Like I see a lot of the luxury travel pages, which are cool. Like I would love to have a luxury travel page and get to travel for free, but you got to start off somewhere. You have to post good content. You have to post high-end content, like invest in the proper equipment, get a good iPhone or camera phone or drone or whatever you need to make that content look good, and copy people. I don't like, everyone's always obsessed with like original content. I get that. But on these platforms, like you see a page and it's working for that person, everything's working great. There's no reason why you can't go and like work with the same photographer or work with the same kind of like, if somebody, let's say you do a podcast and you like how they work in this one studio and that engineer is great. The same thing you would do, be like, I want my content to look great like this. And I don't care what they think. I'm going to do something that makes my content look good, and I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, or I'm going to shoot with these. That's how everyone does it. Like also working with people that have big followings. Like I'm not going to shoot with a photographer that has a small following. I just don't care. I'm going to shoot with someone that has big following, and I'm just going to pay to work with them. Travel, like this is a work trip for me. I'm traveling out here to work and collab and do what I have to do. So that's what a lot of people don't want to do in this space. They think that they're just going to post photos and go viral on social media. It's a lot of work. People don't understand how much work it is. And you get podcast clips. What?
And because you're on a podcast that, you know, like
everything's content. People got to realize, like, you got to post.
And collabing. Like
you have to be real with your fans, your followers. You have to talk to people. You have to be personable. You have to build that fan base where people are like, I really like this person. I want to see what they're doing every day. There's people I run to every day to see what they're doing. Just because I'm like addicted to them, you know, and I don't know them. I've never met them. I never will. There's YouTubers where I'm like, I wonder what they posted today.
But like last night we went to look at this house and I have like several different social medias, and I had Dara post just for my real estate page, just for the real estate page, because I knew that if anybody was, Dara works with a lot of people that they will buy a home. They may want high-end rentals to do photo shoots. So for me, I had Dara just post my real estate page, and I got like a bunch of followers.
You did?
Yeah, I got a ton of, I got like 20 new people from last night. And I looked at some of those pages. Sometimes I try to look at who the person is, and they were people, I mean, some of them were men, which is fine, but like some of them.
Majority is men.
Yeah, well, I mean, but some of them actually just had like mansions, or they do like mansion photos. So like, I just look at it as like everything's sort of like, you have to connect it to like what it is that you're doing.
Like you as a creator, you should be taking pictures and videos of everyone that you go to those houses with. Like if I was a real estate agent and I walked into a mansion, and I would network with everyone. Like I would just be like, oh my God, let's take a selfie.
Yeah.
You tag, because they're going to tag, repost, somebody might follow you. Like every follower means something, especially in that industry, because you guys are in a different niche industry than me. Like those people want to buy homes, you know what I mean? So like you can just grab their follower base. Like it doesn't matter if you have a large amount of following, you want good quality following. Same with me. I don't want the fake followers or people that are never going to buy my content. You know, I want people that are going to be on my page and want to go and spend money.
Yeah. And I think that also like in my industry, where it's like they may not be spending money on my specific social media, but my social media, that may be a client, or that somebody that connect. Like I've had a couple people in our industry that got clients off of social media.
I think that that's one of the first things that we run to. Like if I go to a store, or if I want to buy something, or if I'm going to buy a house, or I'm going to go look at the social media just to see like who they are. You know, people post everything on there now. It's like their business page.
What is the most annoying thing you see in the social media space right now, aside from the algorithms constantly changing?
The annoying thing. Like or I think that's just for us, like the growth has slowed and everything is now a problem. Like back in the day, I could post a bikini photo, I could post a lingerie photo, a sexy photo, and I understand what I'm doing is risky and it's not appropriate, and it probably should be not on Instagram all the time. But for so long, we were able to do these really cool artsy photos, art nudes almost, like you were being creative. Now I can't post anything. Everything gets picked up by the AI. If your skin, if you're wearing a nude like a nude color, it looks like nude. It's like inappropriate. It shows up and it shadow bans your whole page, and you will not be shown to anybody. You will never hit the explore page, and it's just one photo. At least they show you what photo it is now, and you can take it down. But I've spent thousands of dollars on these photo shoots that I can't post anymore. So it's super annoying.
Yeah.
And it also takes money away from the photographers that have built a huge following.
Yeah.
And off of that and stuff. But like, you know, I understand that sexy photos, there's a time and place, and I get why Instagram doesn't want it, TikTok doesn't want it. It's inappropriate.
I mean, especially if you're in like a different industry, sort of. I mean,
we're like the sex workers will never go away. We'll figure out a platform. Like we just don't stop. We're like, all right, we can't post it over here. I'll post it over on Twitter. All right, until Twitter tells us we can't. All right, we'll go figure something out. Like we're not going to stop. We're going to figure something out.
Yeah.
You know, I get it.
You've had such a journey with like your own mental health journey. What are some of the things that you do on a day basis? Because I'm sure that you do get a lot of like negativity or aside from like the positivity, what are some of the things that you do like on a day-to-day basis to really take care of that with yourself?
I stay away from people that trigger me. Like I don't need to be your friend. If you disturb my peace that I've worked so hard, I have to cut you off. And I don't feel bad about it. I used to have this like weird thing where I'd feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And I would stay in these like unhealthy friendships or relationships for so long. Now I distance myself because I don't have the energy to put towards that. So a lot of my friends joke around about like, oh, you're such a loner. You don't leave your house a lot, this and that. And I'm like, you know what? Because I love where I live. I love my peace. I love my life. And this is just like, I've created this place I live in, like with my plants, my cats, the area I live in. I go for walks. I'm on the beach. Like that to me is just keeps me in such a happy, like high, like euphoric place, like where sometimes I just think like, oh my God, I'm so happy. And then sometimes people bring you down, or like other people's situations bring you down, or this and that. And it's kind of like, that to me has been something. But I did get challenged recently with somebody that triggered me into like this like anger moment a few times recently. And I realized like I need to step back and like work on myself too. Cause like it's always a work in progress. Like I'm not just this like pillar of mental health. I've been through a lot. I've been through antidepressants. I was in a women's trauma program. I had to work through abusive, bad relationships, why I was so attracted to these men, and get to a place in my life now where I really love myself. Because I think that when you love yourself, you just can't tolerate things. You're like, ugh, it kind of almost just like turns you off and grosses you out. And I don't want to be around any of it. Like even people gossiping about people, or like being so evil, mean, negative, it affects your mental health. So like you attract what you are. So I just like to try to attract like positive people into my life, positive situations. I also think that money has helped contribute to my mental health a lot too, because I do know that when you're struggling, it's hard to stay positive. And I know that it's like hard to get out of that for some people, and some people stay in that energy and that vibration for a really long time. So it also like gives me that sense of like comfort in my life where I'm not as stressed out, and I get that. So like my mental health is better when I am making more money, you know, and there's times in my life where I'm not making as much money. And I try to stay positive and you know, just work hard. And I want to be in a positive mental space. So I know if I work hard, then I'll get there.
Yeah.
So I kind of just focus a lot on work.
But I think that also like, cause I stay in touch with you and I tell you like stuff that's going on, and it's always like also like, you know, some of the struggles that I've gone through with like my business, and it's like, you're just like, just the support that sometimes like, if you're not in the place that you want to be, like you bring that support, like surrounding yourself with people that are supportive, and they're like, no, like you're going to get to where you want to go. Like, and I think that is important. So you don't stay in those places. So you're reminded that you're doing something. Otherwise, if you're by yourself in that place and you don't have that support because you are surrounding yourself with people that are in those similar places, then I think that's what it makes it harder.
Yeah.
Like that's my way with it.
Yeah. Like you want to be around people. You want to be around people that pick you up, that are positive, that are just having a good conversation. Like there's people that I'll call to talk, and I know that they're going to like lift my spirits, and you should keep people in your life like that a lot, you know? And, there's people that you can have a conversation with that you know you'll get off the phone and be like, why'd I call that person? But I think that as I got older, I got better at reading people and like attracting or bringing people into my life that were good for me, and like saying goodbye to people that weren't good for me, and being like, this is okay. Yeah. Even though I feel bad to tell this person, or like kind of distance myself. But why do I feel bad? Yeah. About doing what's best for me or my mental health. Yeah. And that's where I think, and I know that a lot of people are always worried about my mental health with OnlyFans, but I always tell people it's never been better. I feel empowered in a weird sense doing what I do. And a lot of people can't understand that, but that's their own projection of what I do, and their own like, you're a whore, you're a slut, you're this. I'm like, okay, I don't care what you think about me, because I don't think about you, and I don't care about you or your life. You're not the type of person, like you're not my friend. I have friends in this industry that are coworkers, and we all understand what we do, and like, you know, and this is where I'm at in my life right now. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be here next year. I could be married with a kid, retired. I don't know. I don't know. I always say that if I ever had kids, I'd probably change my life a lot. I'd want to be a stay-at-home mother. Like I wouldn't want to be slutting it out on the internet, but you know. I'm single.
But in the meantime, hanging out in LA, doing collabs, coming on a podcast.
I get to fuck the most famous
coming
porn
to
stars.
See me.
I have a cool life. Like people always judge it, and I say, you know what? Like I feel like a man. I feel like I've been abused by men for so long that I'm on my own terms now. Like it's about me. It's about me saying, hey, I want to fuck you. I'm gonna make money off you, and I'm gonna use you because I've been using in the past. So it's almost like a way to say to myself, like, it's mutually beneficial, but in like a weird sense where I'm like, it's very safe. Like, get an STD test. I'm going to get my STD test. This is a collaboration. If we like each other, cool, we'll hang out after or whatever. But a lot of it is very professional and very not what people think. So I can have this like, if I need sex or I want to have sex, I can go make money off it and have a good time. Why not? I'm single. Everyone has sex. It's just some people don't film it and make money. Some people have sex unsafe, wild, doing the most insane things, cheating on their wives,
drugs,
doing so much stuff. Like, yeah, what I'm doing, I'm just putting it on the internet, making a little money off it. It's not, doesn't make me a bad person. Doesn't mean that I'm like this like insane wild person that you shouldn't be around. You know, like maybe my morals are a little different than yours, or I'm a little bit more open-minded and I understand it. But sex to me is, you know, you shouldn't be having it with everyone in the industry. I get that. And you know, weeding out and being careful with who I have sex with on camera, on the internet. But I also kind of like I said, in a weird way, I'm empowered by it. And it's kind of cool while I'm single to be here.
Yeah.
To be doing whatever I want and making some money off it. It's kind
of fun. Like, I feel so grateful just to be able to like have a conversation with you about it, especially we do know about each other. Mm-hmm. Because it does allow me to be a little bit more open-minded, because you know a lot of mm-hmm. you know, my you know, relationship stuff and things that have come up that mm-hmm. I've shared with you, and just like my own things that I've experienced where people have shamed me, and I'm just like I mean, for one, I literally did fitness modeling for such a long time. Like, mm-hmm. what do you want me to, like, I mean,
it's your body is your brand. Like, I gotta show it. Like, I just worked out.
Like, yeah. And I'm healthy. Like, what, like, it's just, for me to be in an unhealthy space of just like,
society shames women.
Like eating fried chicken, like sitting on my ass, not making time to work out. Mm-hmm. Like, I can't even think of that. Like, mm-hmm. I can't even think of it. The only thing I really thought about is like, oh, I get pregnant, I hope my tits get really big. Like, mm-hmm. that's like the one thing that I think about. But like, I just am so appreciative that we were able to just like talk, like learn more about this, aside from me knowing, just because it does lead me to a little bit more, being a little bit more open-minded. Not saying that I will have an OnlyFans, but I'm saying like, you just never know. Maybe I'll have an OnlyFans and I'll be like, I think a lot of the podcasts, like doing your podcast is yoga. We're having a conversation about it and you're being respectful. I think a lot of the podcasts these days. Well, I love you. That's probably why. It's not even that. It's just like, you're open-minded. You want to know, like, it's about interviewing somebody and their life and just listening to them. There's a lot of these other podcasts, like I talk, like Fresh and Fit, or I think some of these podcasts are just there to like trash women. I've been on those podcasts. You have to like kind of like defend yourself and your like life choices, and it's like, I don't care what you think. But they want you to care what they think. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we could have open conversation. You can just see what I do, and you could judge me for it, or tell me I'm never gonna find a husband, all these things. It's kind of like, well, some people don't care. And some of these podcasts really make women on OnlyFans look really stupid or really bad. And instead of like just having a conversation, or these OnlyFans podcasts just want to know like the most disgusting, dirtiest thing that you've done, or like the most inappropriate conversation. And it makes these OnlyFans girls look like we are just absolute sluts or whores. But it's also like, we are real people. I know people in the industry that are married, that have kids, that are famous porn stars, and they're just about their business. And they're mm-hmm. not like these evil people mm-hmm. or these like, mm-hmm. We're all regular people. Mm-hmm. We're all real people. We're all outside of what we do. We mm-hmm. have a life mm-hmm. and we have a work life. This mm-hmm. just happens to be a work life, mm-hmm. you know? And there's always a market for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, like 100% I'm sending a guy a picture of my armpit after this. Like, it's so happening. Like, I'm so like, fuck a picture of my vagina. I can't think of all the I can't think of all the weird requests I get, but I do get weird requests. I just can't think of them. Like, you know what? Feet, a lot of people like feet. Yeah, well, that's been always something. What? Feet has always been something. Yeah, people like feet. Feet fetishes has always been something. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm so appreciative, and I was going to just piggyback off of what you're saying, and that it's like, you know, my platform is about success. Mm-hmm. In any possible way, you can create mm-hmm. success in your life, in your mental health, in mm-hmm. your business, in your brand, making money online, making money in real estate, you know, whatever it is, you have to really turn inward and figure out what those things are. Yeah. And sometimes some of those things are like, you may not be comfortable with me being a little bit more sexier, but it doesn't have, if it doesn't affect you, like, That's one of the things that's I've been really connecting to is like, how am I being affected? Not how they're being affected. How am I being affected? Because if they're not affected by it and I'm affected by it, I have to look at it. Yeah. That's what I need to look at.
Yeah, especially if someone doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, like in person. Like a lot of people would meet me and never know I did OnlyFans. They'd have a certain perception of me. And then maybe once I told them what I did, they'd have like a weird perception of me. But there's people that I meet every day that I think are like these like these innocent, nice people. And then I find out that they go to like swinger sex parties and they're wild people. I'm like, oh my God, you know, and you would never know what people do or like behind closed doors. And it's kind of like, whatever. What do you think? You know?
Yeah.
But a lot of people do judge. A lot of people will be like, oh, I can't be friends with you. That's okay.
Well, I think that people are always going to be judged. People are always going to have their opinions, and people are always going to have something to say about the other person. I think that's something that I've like, I'm literally trying to like practice acceptance around, because at the end of the day, like my vision is something that I'm connecting to. Mm-hmm. Like having a really great partnership with a man is something I'm connecting to. And wherever that looks like. Mm-hmm. Is it mending a relationship? Is it learning more about myself? Is it making more money that it takes care of my mental health? Like whatever those things are, I can take those negatives and, you know, find my own time to look at it and not let it dominate me, not give it too much power. That's something that's like, sometimes I hear it's not like a negative is supposed to tear you down. Sometimes you have to look at the negative and not give it so much power and see how you can overcome that whatever thing it is. If it's somebody judging you, then, you know, being stronger and more confident, like how you feel about the things that you're doing instead of feeling insecure, like you're not doing something right. And just going back to the social media thing, that's more of like maybe somebody takes a post down because they get one negative comment. Mm-hmm. That's just like sometimes where it's like, turn the comments off. Maybe turn the comments off. But like, I'm just so appreciative that you're here, and I'm so glad that it did work out.
Yeah,
it was definitely
we were able to do this.
I know.
Yeah,
otherwise, Christian would not have been able to be here. I like to ask all my guests 3 questions before they leave.
Sure.
What is a non-negotiable in your morning routine or in your morning afternoon routine that sets you up for the day?
I don't have any non-negotiables in my morning routine, and I just wake up, and if I feel like going for a walk that day, I go. Like, I don't have a morning. I know a lot of people have these like successful morning routines you see on social media.
Me.
But it's stressful.
But you don't see it on social media.
But those are also very unhealthy for me when I get addicted. I have addictive personality. So like if I start this morning habit, I'll become so like, it'll ruin my day if I don't do it. So that'll stress me out. Like once I start working out,
wow,
and I go on my morning walks and I'm like, I missed the morning walk. Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
You know, like, so I kind of just say like, I'm going to wake up naturally. I don't like to set alarms. I'm actually like one of those people that I always say I'm blessed not to have to set the alarm, because I know it's like, I'm going to let my body wake up when it wants to wake up. Yeah. Naturally, healthfully, like if that's 8 o'clock in the morning, if that's 10, cool. I have a job where I kind of work at night. So like, and my morning just looks like however it looks like. I've been trying to give up coffee though.
Oh, I love coffee.
I know.
What is a piece of advice or suggestion you can offer to someone, whether with their mental health or a relationship or in their business?
A piece of advice for mental health, especially like, stay away from people that trigger you. Stay away from people that are negative. And I know it's harder than like if you are in a relationship where that person is the triggering person, but you really need to look inside yourself and say, why am I here? Why am I putting myself through this? I understand it's complicated if you're married or in a relationship or have kids. You need to get to a place where that literally disgusts you, and your mental health and your self-love is at like an all-time high. And just, you have to work on that. Mm-hmm. And we love Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, right? And I just say I tell people all the time, like, look up this podcast. She like changed my life, Esther Hicks. We watch her all the time on YouTube, and that's like what I tell people. If you're struggling with your mental health, sometimes like listening to her just puts me in such a different perspective and better mood, and it just changes things for me. And I listen to her like when I'm going through stuff. Like I'll start listening to her podcast again.
Her and Shri Akashana.
I love his stuff.
I listen to him.
Yeah,
I go through phases.
I go through phases
with him.
Yeah.
But some of his stuff is good. But I learned about him through you.
Yeah. I used to watch him a lot during COVID.
Yeah. What are 3 qualities about you peers would say about you?
Wait, what?
What are 3 qualities about you that peers would say about you?
About me? I think that I'm hardworking, that I am, I love my friends and family, and I would do anything for them. It's a quality, like, and that, what's our quality? I'm funny, silly, quirky.
Okay. Where can people find you? Plug yourself.
Oh, people can find me on social media at MoneyBirdette. It's MoneyBirdette. That is also my Twitter handle, my Instagram, my OnlyFans is MoneyBirdette. That's kind of like my brand everywhere, even on Twitter, but it has 2 E's on the end of Twitter.
And your website.
My OnlyFans?
Your website.
I also have
I always see you
MoneyBirdette.com.
posting on your...
MoneyBirdette.com is OnlyFans. It's like
I always see on your
link that
story,
takes you
you're
there.
like, I can't say it. Hit my website.
We're not allowed to post OnlyFans links on Instagram. So like you have to post it through like a website. People, they know what to do. They know where to find it when they click on the website.
Okay, to me, it's Dara. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Guys,
for
thank you
having
so
me.
much for being here. You can follow me at Jessica J. Fury, at Jessica Fury Real Estate, and follow, subscribe, and like the podcast. It continues to bring amazing people like Dara on this platform. Thank you so much.